But here, the competitors in the first quarter-final, playing in black, Vladimir Samsonov, currently ranked 14 in the world, has been #1, and playing in the blue and yellow shirt. There it is, Chih-Yuah, number 10 in the world, has been as high as number 3, 31 years of age. Vladimir Samsonov takes a bow to the crowd, 36 years of age, veteran of this tournament. 2 umpires introduced to the crowd. And so players and officials shake hands. Players return to their respective corners for last-minute preparations. They'll come out to the table shortly. A 2-minute pre-match practice will take place, and then this first men's singles quarter-final will commence. Chih-Yuah there with his own video camera. The players record a lot of the games and then use it for tactical purposes. And Chih-Yuah certainly will be looking to apply the correct tactics against his opponent. There on the screen, Vladimir Samsonov sat next to me in the commentary box. I'm delighted to have Ian Marshall, Ian, a former England coach and England team manager, currently the Director of Media Services for the International Table Tennis Federation. Ian, I'm sure you've seen these two play a few times before.
Well, very much so, and two contrasting styles, both of course attacking players. Vladimir Samsonov is very much the master of control, one of the most experienced players now on the world scene, and his opponent, Chih-Yuah, well, he's been in absolutely dynamic form here, of course, and we saw him earlier beat Mark Marlon, the #1 seed, but I think I maybe favour Vladimir Samsonov. If Chih-Yuah has a failing, a weakness, it's every topspin the player tends to move the same pace. There's not a great deal of variation in his play, and that might well suit Vladimir Samsonov.
So the 2 minutes pre-match practice starts, and there we have the right-handed topspin player from Chinese Taipei. Finished in that most unfavourable of positions at the London Olympics. 4th place, just missed out on a medal. Lost to Dmitry Ovcharov in the 3rd/4th playoff. In the quarter-final of the Olympic Athens in 2004. But there is Vladimir Samsonov, so elegant, like all great players in all sports, just seems to have so much time. 3 times European champion, 3 times he's won this title. The most recent in 2009 in Moscow. Runner-up in the World Championships in 1997. A long time ago, I know, but it was just down the road. He's very comfortable playing in the northwest of England. Lost to Jan-Ove Waldner, certainly the greatest player I've ever seen play. And what a memorable final that was. 23 Pro Tour titles to his name. And Ian, I'm sure you'll correct me here, there's not many won more than 23. I'm thinking Marlin, Wang Lichin.
Well, actually, Pro Tour titles in international tournaments, Vladimir Samsonov leads the way. But if we take the grand finals into account, then I think Wang Lichin is just 1 ahead. But I think what you must understand about Wang Lichin is he's won when the might of China has been present. Sometimes with respect to Vladimir Samsonov, he's won perhaps when the tournament hasn't quite been that strong. But I think the point you make, Don, about Vladimir Samsonov, he always has time to play.
And so the players now ready to start the quarter-final. All the matches now will be the best of 7 games. First player to win 4 games, progressing through to the semi-final. Each game is to 11 points, and it's Samsonov now serving at the start of the first game. Just looking to step round the backhand to play the forehand topspin. Samsonov just hesitated slightly. First point to Chinese Taipei. Good backhand down the line from Samsonov. Always a little bit more difficult to go down the line. It's a shorter target to aim for. Just caught the top of the net, hence the apology. Again, the counter topspin from Samsonov just caught the top of the net. But it looks to me, Ian, as though Samsonov's going to play very positive. He's going to take a few chances, stay close to the table.
I agree, Don, but I think also his ability to absorb the pressure of Chih-Yuah could be vital in this this table tennis match. Simply, Chih-Yuah is very fast, very quick, but perhaps doesn't quite have the power.
Interesting tactics there from Samsonov, going out wide into CHUANG's forehand early in the rally. So important to keep the opponent guessing where the ball's going to go. The serve just drifted a little long there from Samsonov. CHUANG in with the backhand topspin. Won the point outright on the return of service. And so it's 3 points each, and Samsonov uses the opportunity to towel down. The players can only towel down after every 6 points. CHUANG now with his 2 serves to come. Great service, the long fast service on the diagonal took Samsonov by surprise. He was stepping in, he thought it was going to be a short service, but that was an absolute bullet on the diagonal. Interesting to note, Ian, that CHUANG has never been beyond the quarterfinals here in the World Cup. This has to be an opportunity for him. He's playing a player ranked 4 places below him on the world list, but as you say, perhaps the lack of power may be costly.
Well, I think that's right, but certainly this year he's playing better than ever, is Chih-Yuah. He won earlier this year in Almeria, won the Spanish Open, and was very, very impressive indeed, and certainly yesterday the young man was on fire.
Oh, that's a wonderful backhand down the line from Samsonov, playing that shot so well so far in this first game. And at the halfway stage, it's 5 points each. There we saw it on the slow motion. Super backhand topspin straight down the line. I think when we say CHUANG lacks power, it's all relative. I think he lacks power for one of the top 20 players in the world. He's still a very powerful player, not to be underestimated. But I totally agree, and when you look at the players like Ma Long, Zhu Xin, they can win the point very quickly with an outright winner. Chih-Yuah tends to have to work a little bit harder.
Well, that's right. Everything from Chih-Yuah tends to be at the same pace, and that's why over the years I feel he's had problems against defensive players.
So a further 6 points has progressed, and again Samsonov taking the opportunity to towel down, compose himself, and he's now back at the table, but he's 2 points adrift, but he now has his 2 serves to come. Very fortunate there, Chih-Yuah, hence the apology. See that again on the replay there. It catches the top of the net, and Samsonov ends up playing that knee high. 3 point lead now for Chinese Taipei. Very spinny backhand topspin, clever tactics by CHUANG. Just took the pace off the ball. Came a little bit more up the back of the ball, hence the extra topspin. And a 9-5 lead for Chih-Yuah. You mentioned he was on fire last night, and he looks like he could be on fire tonight. 10-5 up.
Tremendous start.
It's a great flick by Samsonov. The returner serve was a little bit high by CHUANG. It's a difficult skill to touch the ball back tight. You have to read the spin, you have to touch the soft hands to keep the ball tight. Now that is table tennis of the highest order. Super rally, top spin to top spin, but I think it highlights the point, Ian. CHUANG just can't quite penetrate to the same level. Zuzin, Marlong. And that could be costly. 10-5, 10-8, 3 game points saved. He needs to save 2 more.
Well, certainly when you watch CHUANG Chih-Yuah, you're always going to be entertained. He's good in the rallies, he has good speed, and tremendous to watch.
4 game points saved, can you believe it? A pivotal moment already in this quarter-final. 10-5 up, it's now 10-9. Incredible! Samsonov plays 2 great top spins and then misses the easiest one, and it's the first game to CHUANG Chih-Yuah. 11 points to 9, and the players back to their corners. And indeed, in Samsonov's case, it's a coachless corner. CHUANG Chih-Yuah there with the coach from Chinese Taipei. It's a 2-minute break in between games, and surprising, Ian, to see Samsonov without a coach.
Well, I think the reason for that is just concluding today has been the Flanders Open, taking place in Belgium, and most of the Belarus players, especially the women, they've been there competing, and that is where Alexander Petkovic is at the moment, the head coach for the Belarus men's team. But Samsonov, well, he's a wise man. He's been here before, he's seen it all before, and of course he's succeeded. But I must say at the moment, CHUANG Chih-Yuah is very, very impressive, very good on tour this year. As we mentioned, successful in Almeria in Spain, and his win earlier in this tournament over Marlong, the tournament favourite, well, that must have given him a vast injection of confidence.
The players now back at the table for the second game. The gentleman on screen, CHUANG Chih-Yuah, having won the first game 11-9. He serves at the start of the second game. It's a good flick by Samsonov, but CHUANG's equal to it. Gets across. Good top spin with the forehand.
He certainly reacted very, very quickly indeed, anticipated well.
Again, a good flick by Samsonov. Takes the ball over the table at the top of the bounce. A little bit of elbow, but a lot of use from the wrist. Not the best serve from Samsonov, but he got away with it. A topspin error from CHUANG Chih-Yuah.
You mentioned the serve just drifting long in the group stage. That was the problem that Timo Boll was having against Adrien Matin in France, and speaking to Timo after the match, he was saying how difficult he found it to keep the service short.
Oh, great rally again. Samsonov just holding his ground a little bit better. CHUANG was scrambling away from the table. 31 years of age, CHUANG Chih-Yuah, number 10 in the world, has been as high as number 3. The claim French fist punches the air, Vladimir Samsonov. 36 years of age, but still hungry for success. Spent quite a few years as #1 in the world. But we'll just have a quick look at that last point. Oh, what a wonderful counter topspin. Held his ground again. Took the ball early. There it is, the counter topspin. And as you can see, the ball curving away from CHUANG Chih-Yuah with the side spin as well as topspin. Samsonov not quite angling his racket sufficiently over the top of the ball. A little bit more topspin on the serve than he thought. Got to get your racket over the top of the ball. A 1-point lead for Vladimir Samsonov. This time he guided the ball deep into the backhand of CHUANG. A very well placed forehand flick, and again you can see the determination from the player from Belarus. Let service there, the ball just caught the top of the net. Ball just caught the top edge of the racket there from Samsonov, flew off the end of the table. It looked quite a bad miss, but in fact the timing was only a fraction out. What a wonderful backhand topspin. So elegant, so smooth. That's as good as it gets for a backhand topspin on the diagonal. And Samsonov now leading 7-5 in the second game.
Vladimir Samsonov, he just seems to have that extra split second of time.
Again, guiding that flick into the backhand of CHUANG. Uses his body action to disguise the direction very well. 4-point lead now for Vladimir Samsonov.
When Vladimir Samsonov serves, it's sort of the actions in slow motion.
Heavy backspin on the service there, fast accelerating wrist, cutting underneath the ball. Score now 10-6, 4 game points for Samsonov. And there it is at the first time of asking. Samsonov takes the second game, 11 points to 6. And this first men's singles quarter-final evenly poised at 1 game each, and the players again going back to their respective corners. Certainly Vladimir Samsonov, Ian, looking a lot more confident in that second game.
Well, that's true, and I think also the fact that he performed a very difficult skill of flicking the return of serve into the backhand rather than going out to the forehand and becoming embroiled in forehand-to-forehand rallies. And of course the one thing that Vladimir Samsonov wants more than anything else is the Olympic medal. He has the amazing record of his debut in the Olympic Games was back in 1996 in Atlanta. And when he's gone out to the men's singles event, he's always lost in a full distance contest. He's never lost 3-0 or 4-0 or anything like that. It's always been very, very close, and most certainly he's got his eyes fixed on Rio de Janeiro.
Now the players ready to start the third game. It's 1 game each in this men's singles quarter-final. That is fantastic play from Samsonov. Not sure what he did with that third topspin. He played two traditional forehand topspins. There we see the winner that he played down the line. Samsonov leading 1-0.
Now there, Vladimir Samsonov, the first two serves, he served from the centre of the table. And often the player serving with the backhand will tell you they can control the service more. And secondly, serving from the centre of the table, then it cuts out the angles that your opponent could achieve. So certainly Vlad is thinking about the tactics.
Good backhand topspin from CHUANG. Samsonov now with his two serves. Again, it's the backhand serve from the middle of the table, but the backhand down the line catches the top of the net, flicks it off the end of the table. CHUANG leads 3-2. Slightly fortunate CHUANG. Samsonov scrambled to return the net board, as we see here. There he is at full stretch, just can't quite control the ball. Pops up a little bit, and it's enough for Chih-Yuah to dispense the ball with an excellent topspin. Acknowledges his good fortune, but he's now got a 2-point lead with two serves to come. 20! No spin on the serve. Samsonov coming in with the flick. A little bit more topspin on the ball than he thought. Didn't angle his racket over the top enough. 3-point lead for Chinese Taipei. Poetry in motion. Two super backhand topspins on the diagonal, as we'll see on the replay, and there it goes. Right on the white line.
Body in the correct position, elbow correct, wrist correct, as you said, Don. Everything perfect.
That was a great return of serve by Chih-Yuah. He read the spin, had the touch, the feeling in his hand to return the ball very tight over the net. But nevertheless, Samsonov able to get in to dominate the rally, and the lead now cut to 1 point. Again, I think that caught the top of the net, I'm not sure. But it was brave play by CHUANG. He's stepping round going for the topspin. Let's have a look. Difficult to tell. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But nevertheless, good fortune favours the brave. And certainly Chih-Yuah there, very brave, stepping round to play the topspin from the backhand side. And whilst he lacks a little bit of power, Chih-Yuah at this level being the absolute top in the world, he's certainly very consistent. He doesn't make many errors when he's topspinning.
Well, that's exactly right, but I think the problem for him, as we mentioned before, is there's not a lot of variation in his topspin play.
And so the relentless topspins from Chih-Yuah, spraying the ball round the table as well. He's in a strong position in the third game, 8-4. And indeed, a further 6 points have progressed. Both players using the towel. The ITTF introduced that rule fairly recently. Players were toweling down every point, and of course that's very frustrating for the crowd. They were using it for tactical reasons. But again, ITTF looking to make the game a better spectacle for the spectators. And certainly, minimal use of the towel has been very well received. 8-5, Chih-Yuah in the lead.
Well, certainly Chih-Yuah is very, very comfortable in the topspin to topspin rallies. And this perhaps is his forte, scampering about the table. He's very, very happy in the rallies. And there Vladimir Samsonov concentrating more on the Chih-Yuah backhand, which I would venture to suggest is the better tactic.
time a little bit more backspin on the service than Samsonov thought. Didn't quite lift the ball enough. He came in with the open racket, just needed to lift a fraction more. End result, 4 game points for CHUANG. And he takes it again. At the first opportunity, he wins the third game 11-6. And Chih-Yuah now leads by 2 games to 1. Can he make it beyond the quarter-final, Ian?
Well, it'll be the first time ever, and if he can become embroiled in these forehand-to-forehand exchanges, then matters are looking in his favour. I'll venture to suggest that Vladimir Samsonov might well be advised to concentrate 70 to 80% on the CHUANG backhand, and perhaps Vladimir Samsonov doesn't need to move round his backhand so much. He has fantastic control from the backhand, and maybe he could absorb some of the forehand topspins from CHUANG. But there we see the elegant service style of Vladimir Samsonov. But he has found just 1 or 2 problems keeping the service short, as most of the players seem to have done in the Echo Arena. That's no criticism of the venue, but certainly that's been a hallmark of the matches so far.
And the players now back at the table for the start of the 4th game. Chih-Yuah from Chinese Taipei, 31 years of age. There he is. He's serving at the start of the 4th game. The long, fast serve on the diagonal, clever variation. A well-placed forehand topspin from CHUANG into the body of Samsonov. We'll see that again on the replay. There he is, he's round. Samsonov having to lean a little bit as the ball headed towards his body. First 2 points for CHUANG. Again, the backhand topspin down the line, paying dividends for Vladimir Samsonov. .36 years of age, and now looking to Rio, a true pro.
Certainly, CHUANG is moving the quicker player, and he's seizing the chance. Good direction with the topspins as well. He's played 2 or 3 into this indecision area, which clearly is a winning tactic.
It was a good return serve from Samsonov, but CHUANG was incredibly quick there. The return, as we see, CHUANG straight in with the backhand topspin, wins the point. 4-2 in favour of Chinese Taipei. All 6 points have gone with service in this 4th game. Samsonov will be hoping that trend will continue. And indeed it has, but 1 more serve to come. 4-3, CHUANG in the lead.
Interested to see if Vladimir Samsonov elects to serve with the backhand from the centre of the table, but he's decided not to do that. And as you say, matters continue to go with service. CHUANG, whatever the tournament, is always thereabouts, with perhaps not always crossing the finishing line. That's good reaction from Vladimir Samsonov. Short, quick stroke, anticipated extremely well, because that the topspin from Chih-Yuah was well directed.
Chih-Yuah at the age of 31 had his best result of his career, albeit a disappointing one. 4th place at the Olympic Games. So close to an Olympic medal, yet so far. in the early days here, they used to give 2 bronze medals. 1988 when table tennis made its debut, but it didn't last very long.
I think actually it was only in Barcelona 1992 they gave 2, but I think the policy tends to be it's only 2 bronze medals in the combat sports. I always feel that bronze medal match, whatever is the 3rd place match, it's the most cruel match of all.
As you say, losing in a semi-final at the Olympic Games has to be one of the biggest heartbreaks for any player, and then to have to pick yourself up and play again. It's not easy, but meanwhile, CHUANG Chih-Yuah on fire at that point, but Samsonov leading by 7 points to 5. Launched himself into the forehand topspin, CHUANG Chih-Yuah, and again after a further 6 points, both players toweling down and now back at the table, ready to continue this 4th game. Samsonov there very quick to capitalise on the opportunity. CHUANG played the push, tried to keep the ball tight, didn't quite read the spin. The ball popped up in the air. Samsonov very quickly in with the forehand topspin. Got a sneaky feeling this could go the full distance, Ian.
It's looking that way, isn't it? It's certainly looking that way. It's the speed of CHUANG Chih-Yuah against the control of Vladimir Samsonov. But the direction of CHUANG Chih-Yuah's topspin are very, very good indeed. Now, for me, that is the right tactic for Vladimir Samsonov. When he plays the forehand flick over the table, then direct it into the body, into the backhand of CHUANG Chih-Yuah. And CHUANG Chih-Yuah is almost waiting to play topspin to topspin with the forehand.
4 game points for Vladimir Samsonov to level this first men's singles quarter-final at 2 games each. But that forehand topspin out wide to Samsonov's forehand. Saves the first game point, but 3 more remain. Slightly fortunate, he just caught the net cord. A little look of dismay from Samsonov. CHUANG now with his 2nd serve in this sequence. And it's the forehand topspin from Samsonov. Brave play, step round the backhand to play the forehand topspin. And this quarter-final now evenly poised at 2 games each, as the players return to their corners for a 2-minute break, up to a 2-minute break in between games. There we have confirmation of the situation in this quarter-final. 2 games each. And if I was to put you on the spot, Ian, where's your money going?
You to put me on the spot? Okay, I'll go just for Vladimir Samsonov, and no doubt that is the absolute kiss of death for Belarus. But the problem with CHUANG Chih-Yuah, he's never been past this stage since his first appearance in 2002, and time again, CHUANG Chih-Yuah is the nearly man. You highlighted the Olympic Games. He's nearly there. He has a unique record in table tennis. He won the ITTF Pro Tour Grand Final some 12 years ago before he ever won a tournament on the ITTF Pro Tour, and that is quite a unique achievement. But well, this year I must say that CHUANG Chih-Yuah is playing better than ever, and he's certainly causing Vladimir Samsonov some problems. But let's see now if CHUANG Chih-Yuah, now after what I've said, takes the next 2 games and finishes matters.
And so we're ready for action in the 5th game. Samsonov serving. I will put my neck on the line, Ian. It'd be unfair if I didn't. I think that historically you're absolutely correct, obviously, but I somehow think the fact that he is having the best season of his career, CHUANG Chih-Yuah, that he may just pull it out. So in fairness, I'll go for CHUANG. after 2 points, it's 1 point each.
So that means I'm buying the beer, does it now?
It's interesting, of all the players that I've met, and I've met most of them, they don't come much more of a gentleman than the player on screen there, Vladimir Samsonov. So my heart is with Samsonov, my head is with CHUANG. I think that would sum up my position, and indeed CHUANG now leading by 2 points to 1.
I think you make a very, very good point there, Don, and I mean, Vladimir Samsonov is one of the most courteous gentlemen you could ever possibly meet, and I think that's reflected throughout the top table tennis players. They're all the most courteous, amenable people you could ever wish to come across.
That is wonderful anticipation from Samsonov. Strong topspins from CHUANG, as we'll see on the replay. But Samsonov reads the direction well, and eventually it's the error from CHUANG as he throws that one up in the air. Threw it up a little bit too much, and this time Samsonov in with the first strong topspin.
Time and time again in this game, whether it's been forehand or backhand, Samsonov's elected to serve very much for the centre of the table, again to try to cut out the angles, no doubt to cut out the angle that Chih-Yuah gets wide to Vladdy's forehand.
Interesting to see CHUANG there step across to the middle of the table to play the backhand topspin. Clearly very comfortable spraying the ball around the table with his backhand, Chih-Yuah. This time it's a reverse of the tactics. CHUANG this time flicking the ball into Samsonov's backhand and winning the point. There we see him come in. Good use of the wrist as he steers the ball down the line. 4 points each. Excellent variation from Samsonov there. Step round the backhand to play the forehand. He's played quite a few rockets from that position, but as you can see there, a slower topspin, the ball dipping in front of Chih-Yuah. Samsonov 5-4, second serve coming up.
Yeah, again, Chih-Yuah has been in the topspin to topspin rallies. Chih-Yuah plays, especially the Korean who's not here, Yoo Sung-min, that the rallies are absolutely fantastic between them. Very comfortable in forehand to forehand topspin.
Samsonov throwing the ball up into the air, trying to give himself a little bit more time, but it just drops his side of the net. And Chih-Yuah now leading 6-5. Second serve coming up for the player from Chinese Taipei, currently number 10 in the world. Just wonderful play by both players there. The ball going like a rocket backwards and forwards over the net. And it was that forehand topspin down the line from Samsonov that wins the point. The clenched fist there from Vladimir Samsonov. He's delighted. And so there we see on the screen, couldn't be closer at this stage. 2 games each, 6 points each. Both players just pausing to towel down, fully entitled to do so every 6 points.
Go!
Shriek of delight, a roar of delight from Chih-Yuah. This is a pivotal moment in this men's singles quarter-final. Whoever loses this game will have to win the remaining 2. That's a tough call. So
For me, that's perfectly the right tactic for Vladimir Samsonov. I think he has to play maybe 70 to 80% of his first attacks into the body of Chih-Yuah and not get embroiled too much in forehand to forehand topspin attacking strokes. There again, when Chih-Yuah can come in with the first forehand, it tends to be very, very dangerous indeed.
As we move towards the business end of the fifth game, Chih-Yuah has his second serve, leads 8-7. That's again, that flick is working like clockwork for Vladimir Samsonov. This time he went wide to Chuang's forehand. Previously he's been steering the majority into the backhand. He's keeping Chuang guessing where the ball's going. 8 points each. Samsonov now with his two serves. Brave table tennis from Chih-Yuah. Just threw the ball up in the air. Look at that. There's not a lot of topspin on it. There's not a lot of pace on it. Relying on variation, brave play. It paid dividends. 9-8. Chinese Taipei lead. That's an error with the forehand topspin for Samsonov. He stepped down, he let the ball drop a little bit, he had to lift. He lifted a little bit too much. There we can see the ball's dropping. It's almost table height as he hits it rather than taking the ball at top of the bounce. And that's 2 points against the serve. The result, a 2 game point situation in favor of Chih-Yuah. And of course, very important, he has his 2 serves to come. Not the best of serves. It drifted long, but the man in black pounced on the opportunity with a very positive forehand topspin, and we now have a timeout called. Each player is entitled to 1 timeout during the match. It's a 1 minute breaking play, and there we see the timeout clock counting down. It'll count down 60 seconds. And it's used by a player when they feel the momentum would be shifting in favor of their opponent, or it's used in a tense situation. And clearly here, Chih-Yuah sees this point as absolutely pivotal. If he wins this point, he leads 3 games to 2. Could Samsonov come back from 3-2 in?
Well, who knows what can happen in sports, but that would be a tough call. But I do think this is a good timeout call by Chih-Yuah. He's ahead 1 point and he has the next service. So I think he's called the timeout at the correct moment. I think when players call a timeout and they're down by 3 points, that's a sign of panic. But maybe I'll be proved wrong, but I think this is a wise move by Chih-Yuah.
A positive timeout, I think, is a way to describe it, Ian.
That's right.
And so the players now back at the table for the most crucial point so far in this men's singles quarter-final. CHUANG with a game point to go 3-2 in the lead. And it's CHUANG to serve. Look at the concentration on the face of Vladimir Samsonov. And he's done it. That forehand topspin from CHUANG just caught the top of the net. A millimetre higher, it would have been over the net. Such is the margin between winning and losing at this level. There we go. It catches the top of the net. It flicks off the end of the table. So it's now alternate serving. And it's the first player to win 2 clear points. Samsonov to serve first.
That was a good serve in the situation. I think the technical term, or the player's term, is half long. That basically means if the ball had been allowed to bounce twice, it would have just bounced a second on the white line. Now, good chance for Samsonov.
A well-placed backhand on the diagonal, and Samsonov takes the second game by 12 points to 10. And it's Vladimir Samsonov saves 2 game points and now leads by 3 games to 2. Will CHUANG Chih-Yuah reflect on those 2 game points? Will that be costly for him?
Well, a moment ago you said this was a crucial stage of the match, and I think both of us thought that was crucial, shall we say, in favour of CHUANG Chih-Yuah, but he's lost 4 points in a row. It could be absolutely pivotal, because you win a close game, confidence rises. You lose a close game, self-belief dwindles. Now, that could be the biggest boost that Vladimir Samsonov could possibly have hoped for.
And so, hope you enjoyed some of the highlights from the 5th game, but the players now back at the table, ready to start the 6th game. Samsonov leads by 3 games to 2. And of course, it is the best of 7 games. Samsonov 1 game away from a place in the semi-finals. And indeed, Samsonov takes the first point. This is a challenging situation for CHUANG Chih-Yuah mentally. 2 game points in the 5th game. He then lost 4 consecutive points to lose 12-10. He needs to pick himself up. He needs to forget about that game, and indeed, he's come out and won 2 of the first 3 points. There he is, 31 years of age. CHUANG Chih-Yuah, currently number 10 in the world. Samsonov, number 14 in the world. As you pointed out, Ian, CHUANG Chih-Yuah has never been beyond the quarterfinal of this event, and the gentleman on the screen there has won it 3 times already.
And of course, the most recent was in Moscow, when he beat Molong semi-final, and then Chen Qi in the final. So to beat 2 Chinese superstars, that was some performance.
But it's CHUANG who's come out in this 6th game playing strong. You've got to admire the guy. He's forgotten about the 2 game points that he had. He's not reflecting on what a wonderful opportunity he had in the 5th game. He's come out here, put that behind him, and he's playing very positive, aggressive table tennis. 4-2 for Chinese Taipei.
I think that's one facet of CHUANG Chih-Yuah's character. He does lay history to rest, and I spoke to him yesterday about the fact that it was 4th place in the Olympic Games. He simply said, well, that's life, we've got to look to the future. Commendable attitude.
Good forehand topspin from Samsonov. Heavy topspin. Trying to play the ball down the line. Didn't quite get his racket sufficiently over the top of the ball. The heavy topspin biting into CHUANG's bat, pinging the ball off the end of the table. 5-3. CHUANG now with his 2 serves.
5-4.
We talk about the elegance of Samsonov and the speed of CHUANG Chih-Yuah. The common factor is the superb balance that both players have and the outstanding anticipation.
So again, CHUANG Chih-Yuah sees his lead dwindle away, and it's 5 points each at the halfway stage of the 6th game. Samsonov now with his 2 serves, favouring the backhand serve from the middle of the table. And certainly Samsonov playing very positively, stepping round the backhand to play the forehand on numerous occasions in this quarterfinal, and there we see him doing exactly that.
Chih-Yuah, I mean, he's not going to go away. He's like a sort of little terrier, always biting at his opponent's heels. And a very, very well directed topspin. Of course, if you direct the ball into that indecision point, into the middle, the chances are the ball's going to come back down the middle, it's going to come long down the middle, and it's going to come high.
Samsonov just taking his time, composing himself. Both players using the towel. Both entitled to do so every 6 points. Great use of the angles there by CHUANG. Eventually Samsonov had to throw the ball up into the air to give himself a little bit more time. There it goes. The first one was superbly placed. That's right on the baseline, but CHUANG was equal to it. And CHUANG now leads 7-6.
Short, quick stroke from Vladimir Samsonov. Good anticipation, good reaction.
Return a serve from CHUANG, a little bit high, didn't quite read the spin. Came underneath the ball thinking he had to lift the backspin. There wasn't any backspin on the ball, so the ball pops up in the air. Samsonov very quick to put it away with an excellent forehand topspin. 8-7. The player from Belarus edging his way to the semi-final. That's a superb backhand topspin down the line. You see that again, they don't come much better than that one. Straight down the line, super play. Samsonov now 9-7, but it's Chih-Yuah with his 2 serves. That is play of the highest order. Delicate touch play over the net, then exploding with a ferocious forehand topspin. And Vladimir Samsonov now with 3 game points and indeed 3 match points. 1 point away from the semis. Samsonov will be disappointed there. What a wonderful return of serve. That's high, but it is deep. It was on the white line. Chih-Yuah got away with it there. 2 match points remain. And indeed, Vladimir Samsonov just taking his time. He's now back at the table. Samsonov with his 2 serves to come. That's a crucial point. Big advantage is the service in table tennis, just like tennis. Good rally. Interesting tactics. Samsonov looking to get in with the forehand from the backhand side, but it's Vladimir Samsonov who calls timeout this time. So 1 minute break in play. Both players have 1 timeout each. Chih-Yuah has already used his timeout. And so Samsonov now using his 1 minute break just to compose himself. He's had 2 match points, remember. He led 10-7, and the score now 10-9. Samsonov, of course, has the service. He'll just be thinking about what serve is he going to do. It's quite interesting. He's varied his service between the backhand serve from the middle of the table or the forehand service from the backhand side of the table. What is crucial from Samsonov's point of view is he gets in with a strong topspin behind the serve. Again, we've had quite a few in this quarterfinal, but again, it's another big point. Players back at the table. Quite simply, it is match point for Vladimir Samsonov. Three consecutive points for Chih-Yuah, would you believe it? The 31-year-old from Chinese Taipei has held his nerve. Came round the forehand to return with the backhand. Technique we're seeing more and more of. 10 points each. Alternate serving now. First player to win 2 clear points. And that's 4 consecutive points for Chih-Yuah. CHUANG now with a game point to take this quarterfinal to the 7th and final game. The serve was long. Chih-Yuah's in with the forehand topspin. 5 consecutive points for the number 10 ranked player in the world. And this quarterfinal now, 3 games each. The players back to their corners. And we await them to come out for the 7th and final game. Confirmation of the situation in this first men's singles quarterfinal. It's certainly turning out to be an epic. Three match points for Vladimir Samsonov. And there we see the forehand topspin from CHUANG from wide on the backhand side. The ever-faithful forehand flick there from Samsonov, and there's the backhand down the line from Samsonov. And the players now back at the table for the start of the 7th and final game. Vladimir Samsonov to serve. Good topspin into the body from Samsonov, 1 point each. We called this early doors, Ian. We said this was going the full distance. I thought when Samsonov had 3 match points in the 6th game that it was almost in the bag. But it wasn't, and we've got game on.
Well, that's right. He lost, was it 5 in a row? Took the time out, and both of them have taken timeouts at vital stages, and in fact it's the opponent who's benefited from the break.
3-1. Samsonov in the lead.
Do I detect a slightly angry Vladimir Samsonov with himself, if he could ever be? That he's certainly more positive this game.
Again, an important point coming up. The players change ends in the 7th and final game, and psychologically to have a significant lead when you change ends is a big advantage. Samsonov will be looking to win this point and change ends 5-1 in the lead. But it's not to be. His service, he was looking for the half-long serve, but it wasn't. Drifted long, well read by CHUANG, and he was in with the topspin. And as you would expect, both players now using the towel. Very warm out there with the TV lights, just raises the temperature a little bit more than normal. And it's now Chih-Yuah with his 2 serves. A backhand to backhand encounter on the diagonal. Chih-Yuah comes out on top. Samsonov stepping round after a couple of backhands. And then we're back into the backhand to backhand on the diagonal. topspin, the clenched fist, punches the air. Players change ends, 5-3. And the player from Belarus must be the slight favourite, but we saw him lose 5 consecutive points at the end of the 6th game. Led 10-7, 3 match points, only to go on to lose 12-10. The gentleman there on the screen played quite superbly, but mistimes that forehand topspin, catches the leading edge of the racket, flies off the end of the table, and Samsonov slowly but surely moving towards victory. Can he keep the momentum going, Ian?
Would be a brave man who predicts this table tennis match. I mean, in the 5th game, where were we? CHUANG had 10-8, I think. Then in the 6th game, Vladimir Samsonov had 10-7. And on both occasions, matter turned around.
What a rally!
Oh dear.
Topspin to topspin on the diagonal. It's Samsonov who comes out on top, but you're absolutely right, Ian. Both the previous 2 games, the player who got to 10 first lost. So who knows, but Samsonov definitely in the better position, and that position's got even better. He leads 8-4. 3 points away from a place in the semi-final.
Now that 4-point gap, that's the biggest gap when it's been close that Samsonov has had. I suspect he will serve from the centre of the table to cut out the angles, and he does.
Went for the long, fast push. Changed the tactics. He just hit it a little bit too hard. Ball off the end of the table. Tactics were good. Execution not quite as good. A long, fast serve. Chih-Yuah was equal to it. Got into position. Very quick on his feet. Wins the point. And so, 8-4. 2 points against the service for CHUANG, and he now has his 2 serves to come. And you can see the delight from Vladimir Samsonov. You don't often hear him roar out loud, but it was the clenched fist. He punched the air. 9-6. The 36-year-old from Belarus, 2 points away from the semi-final. Just angled his racket a little bit too much over the top of the ball there, Vladimir Samsonov. But now, the former #1 ranked player in the world, there he is, currently ranked at 14. He now has the service, he leads 9-7. But again, the service was slightly long, drifted over the baseline. CHUANG's in with the forehand topspin. Talk about twists and turns.
Well, absolutely, but Vladimir Samsonov, even though the service was a little long, he was very, very passive. I would have thought he could have played a stronger forehand topspin.
What a point! What a fantastic point there, and it was Vladimir Samsonov who eventually, after maybe 20 forehand topspins, won the rally to give himself 2 match points. But don't forget, he had 3 match points in the 6th game. He's got 2 match points now. Surely, he has to take one of the next 2 points.
Point of the tournament for me, the point of the 2 days.
What a time. to produce play of the highest order. CHUANG Chih-Yuah now has to take these 2 points to stay in this quarter-final. And he's taken the first. 4 match points have been saved by this 31-year-old. Of course, both players have used their timeouts. And can CHUANG save a 5th match point? Amazing stuff. Yes, he can you believe it? A little bit more topspin there from CHUANG. You could see there how much he used the wrist up the back of the ball. That little bit of extra acceleration from the wrist creates more spin. The ball fizzing with topspin as it goes over the net. So once again, it's alternate serving. First player to win 2 clear points. Let's service. The ball just caught the top of the net. No penalty. Just simply have to retake the service. Very brave play. Firstly in stepping round the backhand to play the forehand, and then in varying the pace of the ball. Didn't go for the fast topspin, threw the ball up in the air, kept it deep. And we now have a 3rd match point in this decider. 6th match point overall. And he's done it! The forehand topspin into the body of CHUANG Chih-Yuah. A sigh of relief from Vladimir Samsonov, but you can't help to smile when you've pulled off a victory like that. It took him 6 match points to do it, but do it he did. And there he is, Vladimir Samsonov from Belarus. He's in the semi-final, and there we have confirmation on screen. Well done, Samsonov.